knows we're here. Sup?
What up?
It's one of those days. Hi, guys.
Definitely not late.
You are so eager to open that. Please do. Please do. I'll cheers you. Very nice. Very nice.
Getting it for the sound.
Those are still good,
Oh,
right?
God, it's delicious.
All right. All right.
No longer spooky season, but I can still have
It could still be spooky season if I want it to be spooky season.
Spooky season in our hearts.
I was thinking about maybe putting that Scream mask on the set. I did it.
That's a smart idea, actually.
I was moderating a Q&A the other day, and I purposely took it off the set. That's where I had it. I mean, let me just get up and show it to people. I feel like an asshole now that I'm like, look at this thing that you can't see.
Let me throw the comments back on. Yeah. Hello, Steven. Hello, Heights.
Here, you want to put it behind you?
Yeah, sure.
Could look nice. Oh, I mean, it's not as visible as I thought it would be. What do you guys think? Should I leave that there? Year round? It doesn't matter. I love Scream every day of the year.
You need books or something to prop it up
I guess
a little bit so it goes a little higher.
We do this once a week.
We do.
But that could be a good spot when I'm alone. It's it would
fair.
just creep over my shoulder.
Yeah.
I mean, or I could put it up there. You don't need to hear any of this, but it's a cool mask to look at. Happy Friday, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. What's up, Matt? What's up in your life?
Tired. Right back to being tired.
I feel ya. It's been a week.
I took 3 days off last week from my day job, and I just ended up doing other job things the entire time. So I took 3 days off and just worked as much as I would anyway.
I also feel like the challenge of taking days off is that you take the days off, but during those days, the work doesn't get done. And then you just have to do that work when you get back to work after the days off.
And to take the days off, you have to do so much more work to set your friends up and colleagues so they don't have a hard time when you're gone. So it's almost like punishment. And then you come back and everything's a shit show anyway. So that's punishment. So capitalism sucks.
Oh, God. At least we love our work.
I love half of my work.
Maybe not the day job. All right.
Day job pays the bills. Nothing wrong there. But
Tis true. Let's get into some super chats, right?
We have a few right at the top.
Yeah, we got. I always get nervous. Can you check the main thing? I always feel like there are some that creep in before we go live and then they don't pop up. But Ryan, I got you right now.
Start there.
Hey, Perri and Matt, with both House of Gucci and Morbius coming out soon, do you think that Jared Leto is having a resurgence of some kind? That's a very good question, Ryan. I can tell you I saw House of Gucci just to get it out of the way, but I can't say anything about it yet, so I will not touch that one. But we were actually just watching the new Morbius trailer, and I don't know. It looks okay.
Yeah, and a resurgence. Jared Leto is always going to show up towards the end of the year in some. Morbius is a movie we don't expect him to star in later in the year. Usually he's going for something more awards contendery.
Well, he is.
He is in House of Gucci, but the fact that we're getting so much of him, and one of them is a Morbius superhero film that is going to be pulpy and kind of comic booky. So we're getting two different Jared Letos that we usually would get about now.
I mean, this what Tommy says is fair. Who said he had a downfall? He didn't.
True.
He didn't really. I didn't like The Little Things at all, but that is not necessarily a Jared Leto problem. It's just one movie of his I didn't like.
Yeah, and if we're talking about Jared Leto not getting the right credit, I guess if you want to say, David Ayer just tweeted out that we didn't get to see the right performance from Jared Leto and his Joker, and apparently that was a lot better than the one we saw.
Pretty good on your phone.
Yeah, right. That's good quality.
This video looks good.
It does really look good.
That's the beauty of being hardwired in.
We're watching ourselves.
It's it seriously is such a game changer. Why didn't I do this forever ago?
How can you not get enough of us? I don't understand.
Yeah, really.
We're just that into ourselves.
Oh God, that's not true. I have the hardest time watching my stuff over. It's whenever, because I work with an editor who is super talented and wonderful, but whenever we work on ladies' nights, I have to, he edits it, sends me a cut, and I quality check it. And I love watching for my guests and all the insight they have to offer, but a little piece of me dies every time I have to watch myself in a video.
Going back and re-editing my own things and things of that nature, or just going back and reading something I wrote.
Oh no, I cannot
6
do that.
Years ago. I have to look something up and look to see what I said about a movie 6 years ago. I'll look a review up and it'll be like, I wrote like that. And it's not bad, but it's just I'm happy to, one, acknowledge where I've come as right.
Yeah.
But two, also I'm who is what?
It's difficult. I mean, I
Yeah.
think about that all the time, even with video reviews too. Like the written stuff that I did, let's say 10 years ago, I won't look at that because I just can't do that to myself. But even something like, because everyone out there knows at this point, I posted a not so positive review of Ghostbusters Afterlife, and everyone keeps referring to the 2016 movie review that I did, and like, I didn't love the movie. I kind of liked it, but to go back and to have to rewatch that, I didn't think I said anything like bad or didn't, back up my points or anything like that. I just don't like going back and looking at that stuff.
Ghostbusters is a different beast for that kind of nature. It doesn't matter what you said or how good a review you put out. Someone's always going to draw those connections. Actually, a funny story. I mean, like, I'm not going to give details on exactly what it is, but
well, now I want the details. I don't even know what the story is about.
The first Fantastic Fest review I ever wrote was 2014, so like that's a long time ago from this point, and
it's 2 years after your child did a review.
Exactly. And so like that movie never got distributed.
Yeah,
my buddy owns a distribution company, and they're distributing that movie as of now, and I jokingly was kind of like, oh, like, haha, you got to put me on the Blu-ray cover or some crap like that. And then I forgot like how good a review I wrote, because he's like, wait, no, like seriously, like send it to me. And I forgot, and I was like, oh shit, like this is a review I wrote like how many years ago at this point, 2014. And I read it back, and I was actually the one time I was like impressed with myself. Like looking back and going, this is going to suck. I hate this. And all of a sudden I read it back, and I was like, I actually really like this. And I think
good for you.
I think that goes back to the idea of being forced in a festival scenario to pump out something of quality very quickly. I feel like I do my best writing when I'm in that world, and I am forced just to do it on the spot versus toiling and like having time and like beating myself up over it. Because I was just like, I read it and I'm like, this is better than some of the stuff I've written recently. I'm like, who the fuck wrote this?
I'm not like that, but I can definitely see you functioning that way.
I'll thrive under chaos.
I feel like the reviews that I really won't go back and reread are the ones that I wrote before I went to film school. And, I always say that it's not necessary for everybody, but I think it really was for me. I think in order to be a film critic, I really needed to have an understanding of what it took to make a film. And like I wasn't especially like harsh or mean or anything, but there were certain things that I said about movies, and I'm like, do you have absolutely no understanding of the time, the care and the passion that goes into making something, even if it doesn't pan out the exact way you want? It drives me nuts looking at that stuff.
I the mistake of reading one of my early blog posts of just like, I'm going to try this out and see what happens. And I'm like, oh no.
You got to start somewhere.
And I acknowledge that. I am, again, happy for my growth.
That's the thing.
Oh boy.
That's the thing.
Boy.
Like I'm busy saying it's okay for you
right.
criticizing myself, but that's the only way you can kind of hone your craft is by making those mistakes and figuring out what you need to be the best you can be.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Yes.
Just learn from them and actually grow from them and do something with them.
I like that. All right.
Second
Ryan
one.
Is back with another. Speaking of Morbius, what are your thoughts on the new trailer that was released? Does it get you more excited for the movie? I don't think anything can get me more or less excited at this point. I feel like I've kind of just, figured out my baseline level of excitement for Morbius. I'm interested in seeing it. I'm not especially excited, or I'm not more excited for Morbius than I am for other upcoming films, but I want to see it.
Yeah, I have no connection to the material of like loving the character, coming into it and loving the comic or things of that nature. So I'm going in blank slate. Whatever you can show me. I know the base details of the vampire stuff and things of that nature. We can talk about it later when we talk about the trailer, but I'm coming in just like raring and ready to go. But it's kind of like how I'm approaching movies like Bloodshot and Venom and things of that nature. And just like, okay, so it's a character I don't really have an affinity for, and I just get to watch it and see what happens. Cool. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the trailer was okay.
Do you want to start talking about
it? Yeah, might as well.
Did we miss? I just want to make sure there were no other super chats we had to hit.
Oh, well, I mean, this leads us into Morbius anyway.
Okay.
Can always go back.
That's fine. We're caught up.
So, Morbius. The trailer was fine.
It's fine. It's a lot of CGI. There's some cool horror elements thrown in there. We do get like the fang face and things of that nature. So they are going full force into that aesthetic. It also just does look overproduced and a little chaotic with the bats and things and they're flooding the camera. So I don't know. Hit and miss.
There's elements I like, mainly the darker elements. Obviously, that's probably no surprise whatsoever. But I don't know. The trailer didn't do very much to spark much of a connection at all, or create any added level of investment that I didn't have from a previous trailer. So, again, it kind of goes back to what I just said. This trailer did nothing to up my anticipation, and I don't think my anticipation was lowered because of the trailer. It was just it's a fine trailer.
like, and all the nods to San Francisco and the nods to Michael Keaton being there, and like the
Didn't
tie.
they say Long Island at a point? They definitely said Long
so
Island at a
I don't
point.
know if I
Like the
did.
ship washed up by Long Island.
But again, so
are there other
just
Long
what-
Islands?
Possibly, but like just what Rex and Morris just said, they're hinting at a
Where?
lot of Spider-Man stuff here.
Yeah.
Like the connections are happening. We know what the Venom 2 post-credit scene was. They're doing as much as they can to tie worlds and do them in a way where if someone didn't see Venom, I don't want to spoil what that connection was. So just watching the trailer for Morbius, it's fun from that aspect. I want to say it's a little more fun than I was expecting to have all the callbacks in a movie that shouldn't have any callbacks in it. So there's care going into the entire universe they're building, and whether or not this movie works. Again, I didn't like, was it Bloodsport, Bloodshot, like something like that, a one-off comic book movie that they just kind of throw at the wall and hope to see what happens. Like that did nothing for me. But with Morbius, there's a little more there. The story is building into a bigger universe. I have a little more hope. I think Leto looks fine doing the Morbius character and what's happening. There's just not much there besides, hey, fuck, I'm a vampire now. Like,
I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that it winds up being, a Venom. Like it's got some sort of, not necessarily the same exact type of charm, but some sort of unique charm that even if it isn't, like a knock it out of the park kind of high quality success, that it's got like that charm that keeps me invested and makes me at least enjoy watching it. I don't know. That's kind of where my expectations are.
This looks a little more grim, I think I'll say.
Yeah.
This looks a little more dour and grim, and they're really going for the more, like a Dracula vibe if we want to go there. But obviously it's not Dracula. This is superhero things that like that. But they are going for the more horror vibe, and if that translates into an entire movie that feels more like a horror superhero film, I will be very into that. I just want to make sure it's there in the right doses.
Yeah. Okay. We shall see when that comes out. Might as well just bring this up because that brings us to another topic. Tori's here. Hey, Perri and Matt, hope all is well with all the new marketing that Scream is getting. How excited are you for this new installment?
This excited.
Like, I can't even answer that question, or we will be here all night. All night, my friends, my beautiful friends.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. So excited.
Here's the thing: I wasn't the biggest Scream fan for like a little while. I just seen the films. I was like a appreciator from afar. I would say it wasn't my favorite horror franchise, but then like I did a full rewatch during the pandemic. I did another full rewatch for an article at that point, and then like we went to the full rewatch at the New Beverly, and I think I care about Scream a lot more than I ever knew, which is great because I got this tattoo before all that.
I was gonna say, where does the tattoo fall in the timeline?
I can explain the tattoo later if you want me to explain the tattoo.
Yeah, maybe you
I
should
can
do that.
That's fine. But in any case, so like now I'm like into all this speculation, and I'm into everything that we're learning in these new featurettes and talking about all that stuff. So like, I am more into Scream than I ever was, I think. And I'm very excited to answer the overall question. I'm now very excited for this new Scream.
I'm so excited. It's really difficult to contain my excitement right now, and I cannot get enough of all of the theorizing. So here's one good update, because you know how I feel about this. All those theories out there that basically say the characters who died in old installments are coming back. I fully believe Jamie Kennedy that he has nothing to do with Scream 5, except for the fact that the new featurette confirms that he is probably related to two of the characters. We've seen the last name Meeks Martin on IMDb for a while now, but I think the first time, because I think that in the EW article that showed images of those characters for the first time, it only included their first names, but this featurette actually has their full names, and the last names are Meeks Martin. So there is some relation there, but Jamie Kennedy himself said he has nothing to do with Scream 5, and as far as he knows, Randy is dead, as he should be.
He also could be playing dead. We don't know.
He's not.
We don't know.
I feel like I had a pretty good read on his tone in that moment, and I definitely believed him. I believed him. He's dead, but
believe you.
There is so much in that featurette.
Get started.
There's some very interesting reveals. I think the biggest one is what we used for the title and the thumbnail. Sidney has a baby, unless she's like pushing around a cute dog in that stroller.
Could be somebody else's.
I don't think
it is possible that. But I mean, what they're talking about when the featurette shows that clip too is especially the fact that like she's moved on, she's made a life. So,
exactly. And I think she has
everything points.
I think she has a wedding band on her hand too.
Everything points to the fact that she has moved on in that sense, started a family.
You don't include a shot like that in the movie with a character like that unless it has some meaning to it.
Yeah.
And now I'm just trying to figure out who is the partner, who is the child's father. I don't know.
Maybe the child's the killer.
Is Kincaid back from Scream 3? Did they maybe
baby slasher?
Did they
the
maybe
baby's the killer?
The baby.
Baby's the killer. We figured it out. They said we wouldn't figure it out. We did right here.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if the baby thing wasn't necessarily the biggest deal, and it was more of a, it was more, well, I don't know. They're going back to Stu's house for years now. There's been theories circulating out there that I don't think this is the case or what's happening because it's an infant in this shot, but there's been people theorizing that Sidney actually had Billy's baby and that baby grows up to be the killer, and there's all these wild theories out there. That's not the case here, because in this trailer, it's also said that Melissa Barrera's character like has some sort of secret. So I've seen some people out there throw around the idea that like maybe she's related to Sidney or one of them in some sense, which it's possible, I guess.
So
I don't think she's related to Sidney, but she could be related to someone else for all I know.
So I brought up AJ's thing here because, again, the director said the marketing and promos we purposely filled with Mr. X.
Yeah.
I watch every one of these, and now I'm watching them and trying to think of the most obvious reason they've included a piece of material and then trying to work from there to be like, how is it not obvious? What are they trying to do with it? So something like the baby thing, to me, it makes it seem like they might want to make it very important, and they might want to make it a thing that everyone calls out, like, oh man, she's like pushing a baby carriage, and it's going to mean nothing to the entire film. Like, I feel like they know
I don't think it can mean nothing. See,
nothing. But
I'm all for Mr. X and the promotional campaign as long as they're not completely fabricated. Like, I don't want something like, a shot in the trailer that was redone with visual effects to mislead you, to deliberately mislead you and, make you think something is in the movie that isn't. But, restructuring the events in a promo versus the finished feature in order to throw people off, that's something a little different. And putting a heavier emphasis on something with a certain tone in a trailer versus how it's depicted in the final film, that I think that's fair game. But I don't think you could do something like give Sidney Prescott a baby and then not have it be important, not necessarily to the mystery and the events unfolding and trying to figure out who Ghostface is, but just in her personal character journey. Like, if she indeed has moved on and drawn a hard line on ever putting herself at risk again, and there's a baby involved there, that could make the decision to go back and help a bigger decision for her. But I will walk that back a little, because every single scene we see of her and Gail and her stepping up to help Melissa Barrera's character seems like she is coming back with purpose and confidence. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I like Gail's lines so far have been, I think we talked about this last time too, like Gail's lines are the opposite of how we've seen Gail before, so confident and so things of that nature. Like, Gail looks like she's actually scared for once, and Gail looks like she is in a different headspace. And I think Dewey too, there's a great shot in the featurette, I forget if it's in the trailer or not, but like it's Dewey picking up his gun and his badge like from a box that he's like put away. Like this part of his life is like done. He's like, I'm so done with this. And he looks haggard. He looks tired. He looks just like he looks like he can't go through another one of these things. Yeah. And that to me, again, is one of those instances where I see that and like, I don't know. Dewey's always been the one to escape one of these things, but it looks like he doesn't have the gas to go through another one.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's the read I have taken from it, and I'm not saying there's anything to prove that he will die in this by any means, but I don't know. I see that Dewey and I see a different Dewey and I see one that is just like, I can't do this again, but I have to.
I'm definitely still convinced that one of the original three is going to go, and I still think it's Dewey. Every time I see that shot of Gale screaming, it's just like that reaction is more intense than other fearful, reaction shots we've seen of her in the past. I mean, that look that she's got is like someone just died that I loved.
And again, Scream is about playing with expectations. It's about playing with everything. And the ultimate playing of expectations at this point is killing Dewey, whether it's right or wrong, because he has survived every freaking time. He has tempted fate so many times that you are at the point in a horror movie when everyone is like, yeah, he's just going to live because he's done it over and over again. And this is the time you're like, not this time.
I don't want him to die.
I know, but like that is what these movies are about.
I don't want any of them to die, but again, in Radio Silence, I trust, and in the team behind this movie, I trust. And if they can do something like that, that'll get a pretty big emotional response from me and actually earn it, then you do whatever you want to do. Just
what you just said, as long as it's earned. You can do whatever you want in your movie as long as it's earned and as long as it is not a bad faith, like, we just killed everyone you love because it's gonna fuck like that's the thing. They're not gonna do that.
Like the idea of doing a cold open, it being like, haha, Sidney's dead.
Right, exactly. They're not gonna do that. Radio Silence, again, I have, just like you do, I trust in them. So we're gonna get a good representation. Where
do you stand on what you think the opening kill is gonna be? Do you think we're gonna get some sort of celebrity cameo where it's like a big name at the beginning? And
I don't think so.
I don't know. I wonder if they're gonna reshape the structure a little bit. I mean, it feels kind of necessary. Like Scream would feel funny without it, but I don't know. Maybe there is a way to turn that on its head a little bit.
I don't think you restructure. I am thinking about it is the fifth movie. It is because I mean, what if we go back and do them all? Scream 1 is the slasher meta film. Scream 2 is on sequels. Scream 3 is on
making movies,
prequels and trilogies and making movies. Scream 4 is about reboots. So Scream 5, is that the remake? Like, is that what we're doing here? It's even titled Scream. So are we now in the territory where this is the commentary on remakes themselves? And is it going to be a straight copycat that is doing everything from the first one? Is it going to be, are we going to have the opening that is the same exact opening, but with somebody different? Like, I don't know. So in that nature,
well, I mean, it still could be the Jenna Ortega attack scene, and the difference 100%. Is that she doesn't die.
Yeah, that too. That would be a subversion as well. There is the scene presented to us, and guess what? She lives, and that's now a main character, and it's like, whoa. So that would be different. So I don't know. I can't put on. In good faith, I can't say it will be a big celebrity cameo and someone dies at the beginning. I don't think they're going to do something of that nature. That's what you do in the third movie or something of that ilk, because it is the bigger sequel film and it's like go bigger and badder. If we're back at remake, I think we're back at square one.
I don't know. I'm very torn on that. And I don't think that they're gonna give that away or give a solid hint away until we see the finished film. There's something else I wanted to bring up. Oh, I guess the featurette also confirmed that Dylan Minette's hair, but Dylan Minette's character is related to Deputy Hicks.
Yes,
so
that is correct.
I don't know. I feel like he's not her kid. I think in order to make that work, we would have seen signs of her having been a parent in Scream 4. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's like a nephew or something.
I'm trying to think of any connection. Is it the Hicks? I mean, like related, but like, is it them working together? Is it?
Oh, like the two of them as the killers? No, she's not the killer. She's not the killer. She's too busy making lemon squares to kill people.
That is true. She's too goddamn nice to those lemon squares. But that's the perfect cover.
That was the only juicy information that I got out of that set visit interview with her, is that there's no lemon squares in this movie. I mean, I thought the lemon squares bit was kind of fun. All right,
we have a few super chats.
Wiley Todd is first. Hey guys, happy you're back. So I am personally tired of superhero movies. It's too much. Eternals is the first time ever I have not gone on Thursday night for a Marvel movie. I have not enjoyed one in a while. Am I alone? I don't think you're necessarily alone. The reaction to Eternals does seem kind of split. Personally, I don't have any sort of superhero movie fatigue, and I mean, now that I'm saying it, I don't think I've ever had any specific genre fatigue before. In fact, I think I get more excited for something when I think it has been done a lot, because then it creates an even bigger creative challenge for someone to, subvert expectations and step it up in a bigger way than ever before. And then when that happens, I get so excited. So I don't know. I don't think I've ever had that feeling.
I'll even say from a place of privilege and being a film critic, we watch a lot of movies. And I think there's a reason that we don't really get fatigued. And that's because we're seeing so many different genres and so many different types of movies, like just across the board, that I'll watch so many indies in a row, and then I'll be like, you know what? I get to sit down for a Marvel movie, like just some big blockbuster entertainment. I'm okay with that. Like it's a little bit of a comfort in a way. So I think we have an ability to kind of like, I don't know, our endurance is a little better, I would say, in that nature, because we have to, like, it's part of our job, it's what we do. But also I think that variety does give us a little bit more when like a Marvel movie comes along. After seeing like 10 awards contenders, they're very different movies. Yeah. And I think that's a little exciting for us in that way. And also, I also don't think Wiley is alone. I think there are a lot of people that are tired of it. And again, like the reception to the Eternals might prove that a little bit, but it's also a weird reception to a Marvel movie, because this is the first, Eternals is one of like the first Marvel movies that feels like it really came from the director's voice. We've absolutely had Marvel movies that play with the director's like toys the right way. Like we've had Taika's,
I won't disagree.
Well, like Taika's movie obviously has his sense of humor. James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy, no one else could do that. Like definitely. But this is the one that feels kind of a little more away from the Marvel mold than any one of them, only by virtue of the fact that it is so much story that you have to tell. It is a more like Greek mythology story background that they're going for, and it's just a different kind of movie. And for better or worse, that is Chloe Zhao on the screen. Like for better and worse, like they both are good and bad there.
I don't know. I have a hard time with the Marvel mold argument. I feel like every single one of the movies has defining qualities to it, and I don't know. Like I don't necessarily Eternals is necessary. I don't necessarily think Eternals is like breaking some story structure mold. It's more about it just getting more cosmic than the more recent movies that we've like. That's one of the biggest differences to me. I think that maybe I would think it was a more unique Marvel movie if some of the story choices and the tone and the pacing had been more successful. And like, I don't want to turn this into a whole nother review, but I don't know, maybe I would be more inclined to view it as a breaking of the mold type movie if it were more successful in those departments. But I don't know. It just like to me, they all feel like they've got their own unique qualities, but they're all connected and they're all building upon one another. And each one just has its own like unique little flares to it.
This just feels a little more in touch with grander humanity, if we want to say it that way. Like this
does it though?
It's the first Marvel movie where there is like explicit sex and also a like gay kiss on screen. So like there are things here that again, like Chloe Zhao on the screen is just like connecting with the more human elements of Marvel that I don't know if other directors have been allowed to do or have successfully done in that way.
I'm very happy to see them do things like what you just named, but I still think that even though Marvel movies and like a lot, like forget just Marvel, a lot of big superhero movies that we see, like a lot of them are driven by how they explore, real human emotions, but in a more fantastical realm. I don't know. I guess I think other Marvel movies have done that before.
And I agree with you that they've done it before. I just think this one does it a little differently too. And like, also I want to say, like, I don't love Eternals. Like I'm coming from a place of, I agree with you. Like it is messy. It is an imperfect Marvel film. And there's a lot, like this was one of those breaking points of like me sitting down to write a review and being like, listen, I can spotlight all the negatives and here they are. Like it is a sloppily put together movie. At the same time, somehow the positives did outweigh it just a tad.
Yeah. I think any frustration that I'm giving off right now is the fact that fine. like I think it could do what you're describing if it were better.
Like
That's
two
all
hours
I
and
got.
2 hours and 47 minutes about, and it still feels like it's rushed. Like that is impossible. That is nuts.
I've seen a lot of long movies lately.
Yeah,
Well,
yep.
I've got no problem with a long movie. I
Absolutely
just
no.
like long movie or short movie. All I want is for you to justify your running time. That's it.
Yeah, justify it. I will not be mad about your running time until I leave the theater. If I leave the theater mad, then that is your fault.
All right. Jay is here. Yes, finally caught you live after about a month. So happy to have you
That's
here.
shocking.
Hope you both had a great Halloween. Matt's hair looks great. Any review for Antlers? Is Antlers fresher for you? It is, right? Like fresher on your mind, I mean.
Yeah, I saw it at Beyond Fest, so not.
Okay, yeah, I can't really review Antlers anymore because that was one of the last movies I had seen before the shutdown. So way back in 2020. Yeah. So I'll lightly tell you I remember walking out quite disappointed. So that's what I got.
Yeah, disappointment for me is the big thing. It is doing some cool things with tone and atmosphere. It is doing some cool things with the Wendigo culture and trying to bring that into the horror sphere in a way that hasn't been done before. I think it's also emotionally sloppy storytelling. And I think Scott Cooper hates horror movies because the first time he actually tried to make a straightforward horror movie, he failed in so many of the horror aspects of it. Other aspects of it are good. I don't think it's an outright like bad movie. It's just forgettable, and it's just a little. It doesn't have a landing for me. The final act and the culmination. I know it is explained in the film why it happens that way. It still has no resonance with me, and it just kind of trails off and just. Cool, you've found the horrors of humanity once again in a horror movie, and you've done it in a way that we've seen a billion times, and you don't actually have the heart to back it up. So cool.
Okay. So that's how we feel about Antlers. I think I missed one. Yes, I did. Ryan's here again. Scream 5 versus Morbius. Which movie wins January in terms of box office? I'm hopeful for Scream 5, but cautiously optimistic. Don't be cautious about it. I think Scream 5 is going to blow the box office away. Anyone out there who is thinking, oh, they're just dumping it in January, that's not a thing anymore. And it wasn't a thing anymore even before the pandemic. We were already seeing the release calendar change at that point, and January had already proven time and time again that it was a good space for something to, avoid, let's say, big summer blockbusters and still manage to pop at the box office and make a pretty significant amount of money. And at this point, almost anything we knew about the release calendar and what was a hot date to drop your movie on is essentially obliterated. We need to reshape all of that, get a whole batch of new data, and figure out what that damn release calendar is going to look like going forward. So I think Scream 5 is going to crush it, and I think that January release date means nothing negative.
Yeah, I think it's meant nothing for a little while too. I agree with you. I would have to go back and do a little bit of research on my past reviews of things of that nature, but I've said this like over and over again. Like January and February are just as strong now because, to your credit of what you just said, is studios have been like, hey, these 2 dead months, we can take over and we can like slip a horror movie in here that people are going to love and still be talking about at the end of the year. And like, that's going to be like the Black Phone, like next year, like something like that.
Could
like,
be.
There's nothing about the Black Phone being, oh, we just have to dump it there and just like get rid of it. Like, no, that was a strategic choice. They did that for a reason, and it's going to own January. Like, that is not a thing just to slip it in and hope like people like it. No. That's a strategic choice. They're going to dominate January and like the conversation. So
I had the same thing.
We need to stop. August too. Like August used to be
the end of August, beginning of September. Which one changed the game for that? I think it was It Chapter 1 came first, then the Nun, and then It Chapter 2 didn't really meet expectations box office wise, but it still made a lot of money. Yeah, so that's how it goes. All right.
All these preconceptions, throw them out the window. Nobody knows what's going on.
Caleb's here.
February. Sorry, Black Phone is February.
Oh, I was wondering.
Case, my bad. I'm just confused. It's coming out like so soon, but also not so soon.
So Caleb's here to say congratulations, Perri, on getting to the team's tournament finals. Let's go press room. If I'm schwitzing at all, it's because now I'm just like in a panic about the next thing. Yeah. Just like, how am I still in this tournament? It's so cool. It's so cool, but how is this happening right now? And how am I going to play a 5-rounder?
Don't question it.
Caleb, thank you so much for your support. It's been just wonderful. And your support and your encouragement and your faith in me has made all the difference this season. So thank you. We had another one. Didn't we have another one?
I
Oh, are
think
they the
Caleb said
same?
twice. I think.
Yeah, I'll bring up Caleb twice.
Thank you, Caleb.
Thank you. And also, if Caleb's back here twice, how are you doing in fantasy football? Because
Okay.
I'm about to have the shittiest week imaginable.
Yeah.
Did you look at my lineup?
I did not.
Did you look at my? Can I show you my lineup just because it's laughable?
Oh, are you on bye week? Is this bye week for you?
It's like not just bye week.
Injuries as well?
It's just like everything hardcore sucking. Like, look at who I'm starting.
Who is
I have no running backs.
You're
Gainwell
you're screwed.
is like done.
So
he's
screwed.
completely useless. All of my Washington football players are on bye. Davis and Shepard are injured. I picked up Peterson, but I'm afraid to play him.
Don't play him yet. Do not play him yet.
Like, I don't even have anyone to sub.
I'm doing fine so far, and I think I've overtaken you now at this point
in the Patreon league. Probably no one's overtaken me yet in the other league. I'm doing pretty damn well in that one, but I'm very eager to laugh at myself in the Patreon league.
We won't talk about Aaron Rodgers being a shitbag. We're just gonna pass on that. Piece of shit.
Makes me so mad.
Yeah, his words today were very revealing, and we are done with Aaron Rodgers now. We're done.
What?
We're done.
What a massive
It's amazing. It's amazing how these professional athletes who play on a team use words like it's a personal choice, but like I don't think their teammates or crew members or all these things, like everyone around them, like that's not a personal choice. You're in a team environment. Like the fact that they can be so up their own ass and do things like that.
Selfish. It's so selfish. And it's just like, it's not even just selfish as a teammate. It's selfish as someone who is such a significant part of a massive business that employs so many people, and you are putting them all at risk, and then you're acting like an asshole about it.
Yep.
I'm just like so angry about the whole thing.
Fuck you, Aaron Rodgers.
Thank you for changing the subject, Wiley. I finally got to see Last Night in Soho. Loved it. My favorite movie of the year. Music is outstanding. Acting was great also. Loved Ellie's friend in the movie too. Have you guys seen Thoroughbreds? Thoroughbreds is great. I love that movie.
Thoroughbreds is wild.
Yeah, it is. It is. Every single time I think of Thoroughbreds, all I can picture is we had Anya Taylor-Joy and oh my God, the director's name.
I'm blanking on that 100%. I have a phone here.
He directed Bad Education.
Yep. I know.
I know him. Is it Finley?
It is. I typically like to.
Corey Finley.
Yep.
So him and Anya are like super, super tall people, and I am just like itty bitty. And in this photo, I'm standing on an apple box, yet I still look like a foot shorter than them.
Doesn't shock me.
It's really weird. But Thoroughbreds is great, and I highly recommend it. It's a very well shot movie too. It's
a beautiful movie.
Stunning.
Beautiful and messed up. Do it.
All right. We have so many other stories to get to. We did this.
Did anything else happen?
We did this. Can we talk about this really quick? Because I'm
you want to.
I'm really excited about it.
So you do it then. I don't have much to add here.
So the Wicked movie is finally moving forward after so many years of talking about it, and they cast the movie, and I was really surprised when this news broke. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo are going to star in it. I think Ariana Grande is going to play Glinda, and then Cynthia Erivo is going to play Elphaba. And I think I'm hugely excited. I think this is great casting. They are both wildly talented, and I cannot wait to see them in this movie. I think I was just surprised because I assumed that they were going to cast, like up and comers in their early 20s, like fresh face kind of thing, and then fill out the older cast members with more seasoned actors that'll draw a big box office total or something like that. But not to say, and I'm not disappointed by this at all. I'm surprised, and I think I'm pleasantly surprised. This is just brilliant casting, and I'm so happy that this movie is finally happening. Did you never see Wicked?
No, I never got a chance to see Wicked. I have not seen it. So
have you ever listened to the music?
I inadvertently I have been gifted the music. in the worst ways.
that was a really loaded.
No, it was before you. I promise, Amelia, it was before you too. I've heard it plenty of times.
I think that is the Broadway show that I've seen the most. Okay. Like I hit a point where I was going just like alone. Like I would just go to see the show.
I was never a big like Broadway. Like I didn't have the drive myself at first, and then after that, like I just didn't go with other people enough. So like I've seen a handful.
I was never super into Broadway, but I would get hooked on certain shows, and I mean I got hooked on 2 shows. It was Rent and Wicked. That was it. Those were my shows. I did see a lot of other cool things that I'm very grateful that I got to see over the years, but it wasn't necessarily like me needing to go back to Broadway. Like I need to go back to the theater to see my favorite movie.
I haven't seen much, but I sure as hell saw the SpongeBob musical.
Oh, did you really?
Absolutely.
I heard that was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was great.
All right, where are we at now?
I don't know. What else do you want to talk about?
Eternal. We talked about Eternals. If anyone's curious, looks like it made $9.5 million at Thursday preview showings. I believe that puts it ahead of Shang-Chi made $8.8 million in previews, and it is supposedly on track to make something like $75 million. Yes.
Damn. Okay.
Solid number.
Damn.
I don't really know what to make of numbers anymore.
I mean,
that's a big total, and I think it's a good sign that theaters are coming back. But it's hard to compare that and say, like if this movie tops Shang-Chi, does that mean
right? What does that mean for
like Eternals is, I don't know, better in some sense. I don't know. It might just mean people are getting more comfortable going back to theaters. I don't know anymore.
You reviewed Rocky on Broadway, and I reviewed Misery on Broadway.
I saw Misery on Broadway.
I think we went to the same promo.
No, I went with my family.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get to go to the promo.
I did the press night with Walkuski and a few people.
So it was Bruce Willis and Laura Metcalf.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It was like interesting. It was like one of the most incredible productions with the rotating house, and it was so cool because like it wasn't just like lights go down and then the house rotates to the next room. The house would rotate while the blocking was happening. Yeah. So they would move or he moved from room to room too.
They would have to walk through the rotation. Yeah. Did you see?
He didn't move very much.
Did you see Dear? Were you a Dear?
I saw Dear Evan Hansen.
Was it everything? Bad movie, good play?
Really. Okay, so Matt, I'm going to take your word for it that it is a good play because I've obviously been hearing the hype about Dear Evan Hansen. My whole family except for me actually saw it on Broadway, and I think they all loved it.
Yeah.
So the most surprising thing about the movie to me is that I walked out of the movie not just thinking it was a real bad movie, but also wondering how that story ever worked. Like I don't understand how that story played well on the stage either.
Again, it is a beloved. Amelia, it's a good play, right?
No.
Oh, all right. Fuck us. All right.
Bad play with good music.
Okay. Bad play, good music.
I mean, in the movie, like the music isn't necessarily bad, but there was nothing about the music that made me want to rewatch the movie or even just listen to the music separately. I don't know. I didn't like it at all. It's one of the worst movies that I've seen all year.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I pulled up the story too that I saw today. The headline on Collider is Andrew Garfield says his time as Spider-Man was heartbreaking. And the quote was, "I went from being a naive boy to growing up. How could I ever imagine that it was going to be a pure experience? There are millions of dollars at stake, and that's what guides the ship. It was a big awakening, and it hurt." And it just like makes me sad. I'll never forget being at Comic-Con that year and how excited he was and how just like, it was just like bubbling with pure passion. And you could tell like his enthusiasm for that role in that film had nothing to do with making the big bucks or getting famous or any, like shallow elements to being a movie star. It was really like, he wanted to do the character of Spider-Man justice. And sometimes this is how things pan out. You can have the best intentions in the world, but making a movie is a pretty damn hard thing. And sometimes the pieces just don't align as well as they could have. And I think that's what happened. I kind of like The Amazing Spider-Man. I don't think Amazing Spider-Man 2 is very good, but I do like that first movie. But, he's definitely in the weakest of the Spider-Man series.
Yes, he very much is. And that is... by virtue of just it not being the full trilogy that it was planned as and all these things. Like
Yeah.
that speaks volumes. That like Spider-Man is obviously a franchise that you want to keep going as much as possible. And the fact that they just cut that one off
Poor
the legs
dude.
and we're like, hey, I know we left a bunch of these open questions, but we're done with this franchise. We're going to move on. Like that said everything that the studio felt.
Yeah.
And that is terrible for an actor. Like literally, this is a huge franchise they put on Andrew Garfield's back. And does he now think that like partly is that his blame? And like that sucks. Like that sucks for him. And if he took it that way, like
I
that
hope
is
he
just a
doesn't
terrible
blame
thing.
himself.
But
at
like,
all.
I mean, listen, how could I ever imagine that was going to be a pure experience? Like,
well,
like, literally, that is him basically
I don't know. I
saying,
mean,
like, I don't know.
yeah, not that he was like completely new to the industry then,
No, he
but
was
when
not.
when you're younger and just starting out and you haven't actually experienced the the red tape and the stuff that goes on the higher up floors or behind the scenes, you
The
don't
boardrooms.
really know. I can understand having that kind of faith and then being disappointed by the reality. All
I
right.
just need that certain kind of leather.
Did you
on
watch
your
this?
skin.
Did you watch this
I
8-bit
did.
Christmas trailer? What'd you think
It's
of
kind
it?
of cute.
It's kind of cute.
I
Like
mean,
it feels like it's promoting two different movies. Like there's a shift in the middle, and I'm like, there's like a lot in this trailer.
they do the whole this is just gonna be a fun kids movie about like finding a Nintendo, and then all of a sudden it turns into like we have to outsell each other to get the Nintendo. And you're like, wait, which movie are we doing?
I don't know.
How are we doing this?
I mean, it looks cute. It looks like something I'll probably want to watch during the holiday season.
Absolutely, it's streaming on HBO Max, so it's something I can just
Yeah.
like throw on, and for Christmas entertainment and things of that nature. Like it's a fun throwback again for 80s nostalgia if you're into that kind of stuff. So it's really selling the fact that like Neil Patrick Harris is narrating a story.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be fun because he'll be like, it's this year, and then the daughter goes like, no, it's not. He's like, that's right, and it just changes on the screen.
Yeah.
I think you could have fun with that.
I'm
So
curious.
the breaking time concept and the breaking reality concept will be fun, but yeah,
Yes.
it just looks like a kiddie throwaway.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
looks cute.
we're doing what we can with that one.
All right, we got Wiley back here with a double super chat. I'm going to New York for my first time ever in January. That's so exciting. I'm going to 3 Broadway shows: Harry Potter, Wicked, and Book of Mormon. Holy shit, man. That is quite the lineup.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to see Wicked my entire life. I'm a massive fan of The Wizard of Oz and That Big World. You guys have any suggestions while I'm there as a movie fan? I'm still just like blown away by the 3 shows you just name dropped.
Yeah,
I haven't
got
seen
some
Harry
stuff there.
Potter, but I saw Book of Mormon. I actually saw Book of Mormon. One habit I did get into is whenever I had to go to London for, a junket or something, because like I would go by myself
Yeah.
and they would send us for a night, is like I would want to make the most of my time there, and I would buy a solo seat to something on the
whatever.
West End, and I did see Book of Mormon there. I mean, I always recommend Meatball Shop.
Meatball Shop is in New York.
They're
Institute.
everywhere. Wiley, there are so many of them. You know how many? They're
Eight.
all over the place.
I think it's 8.
I think there's more now.
9, 10.
There has to be more.
Rabbits.
but-
Just multiplying.
It has nothing to do with movies, but I highly recommend going to the Meatball Shop.
I mean, if you're a movie fan, there's plenty of just like websites and things you can find that can put you on the path to be like, see these cool locations and where things were shot. I mean, there's so much stuff shot in New York. So I would suggest maybe finding one of those and doing a day
Like a
of
walking
just,
tour or
walking
something.
tour. Also, like, don't be afraid of some of those walking tours. If you want to jump on one, like I've done some really cool food tours in New York.
Oh,
of
yeah.
Just like, I don't know, if you've never had New York pizza before, like I took a New York pizza tour and just went to a bunch of restaurants and they gave us like tasters and things.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that stuff is fun, I think, in New York. And again, like, for specifically movie fans, when is the new Alamo opening there? There's going to be an Alamo
Oh,
in Midtown, and like that is always a cool vibe just to catch a movie at the Alamo sometimes. Go to the bar there. It's like, did you see the bar for the new Alamo
I
in
haven't
Midtown?
seen it.
It's an old school New York City paper newspaper factory.
Hmm.
So like
Oh, wow.
there's like a printing press and everything there. Like they just have gone like the newspaper route because like that is very New Yorky and it's very like
Sounds
newsies and stuff like
incredible.
that. So yeah, so like that should be very cool if you have time to check that out. I would say.
Good advice, John.
bring out a
Very
jacket.
good
It
advice.
will be
It
cold
does
in
get
January.
it does get cold there.
I am so happy that I am not in New York when it's cold anymore.
I've
Holy crap!
I've told you my coldest
Holy
like
crap.
New York experience, right? It's
Yeah,
like
I think so.
way back in the day
Yeah,
when I
sorry.
had my
It's already
when I-
open.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
that's
thought so. Yeah.
Andrew, that's very good to know. I'm
Continue,
definitely
sorry.
like when I go back for the holidays, I'm definitely going. I was working at New York One. It was my first job out of college. And I was one of the people that puts the big camera on. I was like basically a camera operator. And I would run around with a big camera on my shoulder. And I accepted the assignment to work New Year's Eve. And that particular New Year's Eve, it was cool because you got to stay in the middle, like where the press people are. And I got to watch the ball drop and all that cool shit. But that particular New Year's Eve was like one of the coldest on record.
Oh,
and one of the things that I had to film was the cleanup after. And it was so cold that while I was filming the cleanup, one of the plows pushing the garbage rolled over a full water bottle and it popped all over me. And by the time I looked down at my coat, it was ice.
Yeah, that sounds like the worst thing ever.
It was incredible. I did it once, but never again. I don't ever need to do that again.
So I went to New York, or like living in New York. I used to explore food all the time, and there's this place in the Lower East Side called Speedy Romero's, and they do these like crazy pizzas. And they had a Reuben pizza? They had a Reuben pizza, which is maybe one of the best pizzas I ever had in my life. We went to. Did you ever go to? 8-Bit? I think it was called maybe. And like,
are you just thinking of the movie?
No. I'm actually like legitimately like.
Okay,
so like it was like an arcade bar in the Lower East Side, and it wasn't barcade.
Okay. So I think I've only been to the barcades.
Yeah. So we went, me and Cruz, I went to a 8-Bit barcade day, had some drinks, and we had that Reuben pizza. Oh my God. That is one of the things I say I will miss the most about New York right now is just like missing that kind of food culture and just like walking around place to place. That was very nice just to be able to be like, we're going to go to this bar over here, take like a 2-stop subway, be at this place, have an amazing meal. I miss that. I
guess so. It's a different kind of food culture here.
It is, but like it's more spread out.
Should we find a food fest to go to?
I'd love to find a food fest out
I'm surprised you haven't done that yet. But then again, yeah.
Sorry, there was a pandemic.
I know.
Apologies.
I know. I'm surprised you didn't like prioritize that the day you moved here.
No, I know. Yeah,
that was actually one of the first things I did when I first moved here, and I that's like not necessarily my kind of thing.
Of course.
Annabelle's here. Hello, fantastic duo. Glad to be here. Notice this month has some interesting releases. Anything stuck out to you? Speaking of Belfast versus Clifford the Red Dog, who's your winner? If we're talking box office, like Clifford's going to win.
100%.
I haven't seen Clifford. I did see Belfast the other day, though, and it's quite good. I wouldn't be surprised if that has like a nice run, courtesy of a little award season buzz.
I've heard as much that it is a very...
Katrina Balfe is like, whoa, good in it.
I've heard it's everything that voters go for. So I would not be shocked at that nature. I still have to catch that, Clifford. I have to catch up on so much stuff. The awards voting. When does your guild vote? This is a curiosity question. I have so much to watch, and now because I do TV and film, I'm just like inhaling content nonstop. Apparently, our date is the 1st of December. Oh, that's insane, right? Okay, that's crazy. Right? Well, my next like 2 weeks, it's like a screening every single night. No, totally. But it was just a crazy thing for me to be like, you have to see everything by December 1st. I'm like, that seems like a crazy guild date for like to see everything. It seems a little, I mean, granted things are switching to digital screeners versus physical, but I got my first physical screener in the mail today. We did too. Yep. I was that as well. I didn't need that screener. Late. I already know that I'm going to probably be voting for that one like crazy. That's getting my vote. But is that not also like, sorry, inside baseball stuff, but like, is that not also crazy that we haven't had an onslaught of screeners yet, like mid-October? I feel like it needs to start in October. I didn't get any like physical Oni ones, but I've gotten like the invites. I feel like this is the month when I'm going to have to cram. I just remember October's where like it's not even Halloween and I'm already like a stack like here of screeners for voting. I have a lot to watch. Anyway, it's giving me anxiety. Total sidetrack because I'm just getting distracted by everything. I can't wait for Nightmare Alley. I can't wait for that movie. That is a big one. So I'm hoping it does, John. I really hope it does. Were there other stories? Oh, Gal Gadot playing the evil queen. I like her in just about everything. I think she'll be a good evil queen, honestly. I don't know. I actually kind of think she'll have the right facial reactions and things of that nature to be able to play like the
She's got that kind of gravitas to her too, that I think she could command the screen in a role like that. My bigger question is just, what will this live action Snow White movie really look like? Because, you know, I know Snow White and Sleeping Beauty are two different stories, but when I try to picture this new story, I can't help but to picture Maleficent.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, I understand. I don't think it will be Maleficent 2. I think they'll try to make them separate for a reason.
Yeah.
You don't want to oversaturate, do the same thing twice.
Did you want to talk about any of these other things?
I watched that trailer.
I didn't love it. I like the beginning of it.
Station 11, so everyone knows what we're talking about because we're just looking at a tab. We're just going to talk about
this trailer right here
without you guys knowing. Station 11, HBO Max, a dystopian plague show, which cool, good timing. And it doesn't look like it really adds anything to the conversation. And it takes place after the plague has ravaged our country, and there are survivors. And I'm still not even sure on all the mechanics of why people are alive and why they are dead. Doesn't do a good job of that, and it just keeps playing this like hopeful song, and I forget the actual cover of what it is.
Yeah, they wrote it here.
They are playing a cover of
What the World Needs Now Is Love.
Like that went over well the first time. Like we're doing that in a trailer now about a dystopian plague movie, and it's a bad choice. That's the best way I'll say it.
I like the trailer at the very beginning. I do tend to like trailers in general that show us a little more of a fleshed out scene, so we get the feel and the tone of the movie a little more than the quick cutting formatted trailers. But, and you know, admittedly, this might be me not getting what I want from the trailer, which isn't necessarily fair, but I feel like when it comes to dystopian or disaster type movies, I want to feel the build of dread and then see the world crumble. And it was almost like I got a taste of it, but then it jumped too far ahead. And because I don't have a real clear understanding of the timelines in Station 11 or enough of it to really appreciate it in a promo, then the rest of the promo fell flat for me because I just I didn't care. I wasn't invested, and I don't quite get it yet. And yeah, I'll get it eventually when I watch the show, but it just didn't serve this particular trailer well.
Yep, agreed. Ditto.
Anything else here? You want to take some questions from the chat?
We always take questions.
Some fun time?
We love doing that.
Yeah.
It's our favorite thing.
Send us some questions, guys. There's a question that I saw earlier.
Go find it.
Someone asked, "Oh, did you see this?" See people talking about that.
I have not yet. I do want to get to it eventually.
Good answer.
Yeah. There's just too October was just so heavy, and especially the streamers too. I keep complaining about this, but I forget if Hellbound is Netflix or not. But just general conversation. Netflix keeps throwing horror movies out there that I can't even keep up with because they don't do marketing for it, and they just put it out, and it's just cool, I've already booked my slate, and now you've just dumped a movie here that I have to catch up with eventually.
Get ready for that for Christmas time. Netflix always just, dumps the Christmas movies on us. I'm hoping some of them wind up being good. I saw a couple good ones last year.
Yeah.
Fun, good Christmas spirit. Long Island, not New York City.
Excuse me, it's pronounced Long Island?
Long Island. Yeah, 2 people in the past week told me that I don't sound like I'm from Long Island, and I do.
It's a compliment.
But I do.
That's a compliment.
I know, but I do. I do. I still need to see it.
It's a wild one.
It's a ton.
Oh, okay. So Hellbound's not out yet. Okay, cool.
Oh,
I have not yet then.
Well, there you go.
Putting that with another one that was coming out on or came out on Netflix. There's just a few Homunculus and other titles.
Wait, what?
Exactly. Homunculus is one that is on Netflix that I've been trying to see for a little while.
Wait, can you say that again?
Homunculus.
I'm just thinking of Oculus, and it's it sounds like you're mashing it up with another horror movie, and it's just sounding funny to me.
I forget exactly what it is, but it's kind of like a clone or a doppelganger scenario. It's not the exact definition of it, but it is something.
And you watched this?
I have not yet. So I will get there before the end of the year. So my horror top 10 is where it needs to be. But there were even a few screeners at the end of their Netflix and Chills programming that I tried to reach out to get, and they're just no, we're not going to give you one. And so I'm that's totally fine. That's not the complaint, but it's just, it falls off my radar at that point because I can't keep up with it. Then it comes out.
And then there's so much more.
Yeah.
There's so much to watch. Feels like Big Mouth dropped today without any fanfare.
Yep. I really
I was a little surprised.
I love Big Mouth. Like Big Mouth is really funny.
I'm newly obsessed.
Told you.
Like
I told you.
I can't stop watching it.
There was a show called Inside Job that was very fun that me and Amelia watched, and it was just I picked it up one night just because I like need something to fall asleep to, and I ended up like watching the first episode and a half, and I'm like I have to pause this and like just actually watch the rest
I've
of
heard
it.
good things.
It is a cartoon about a fake government agency called Cognito Inc. Obviously a play on Incognito.
Yeah.
And they are just basically the cover for, or they create conspiracies to keep things hidden. And it is just a very interesting, mature cartoon about workplace scenarios in this insane environment, and also might hit really hard sometimes.
Now I kind of want to watch that.
And it's quick. It's like 20-minute episodes and you can breeze through it.
Okay.
It's like 10 episodes. Maybe.
I'm finally doing a Matrix rewatch. I've never seen, or I've never seen in full Reloaded or Revolutions, and I haven't seen Matrix since, when it came out. And
true. I don't have time for that.
Oh my God, my head is like, I binged them straight through, and I think it was too much for my poor little head.
I don't know if I have the time for that.
I also rewatched Krampus, and Krampus does not get enough love. I still think that. I thought that when it came out, and I was one of, few like super positive reviews. Like it felt like it got a very mixed response. I
give it 4 out of 5 and I reviewed it.
This sequence in the attic and the kitchen that intercut, so badass. I love it.
I'm still waiting on the director's cut that has the elongated ending or whatever.
I forgot about that.
I forgot I ordered it. So like, it's just, I knew when I ordered it, the date was later, but like, I just forgot I'm waiting for it still. So I think it comes out and I'll get it for like December. So I think I'll have it for December. I think it ships soon.
I'll come over and watch it.
Yeah, 100%. I know it shipped today though. My Cavity Colors Predator long sleeve shirt and sweatpants, which are dope as hell.
So we're getting lots of cool shit. You know what else I just found out today? That a certain Scream poster that I bought, Gallery 1988, is ready for pickup.
We're both also waiting for the shipment of our.
What the fuck? Where is it already?
I
know. I need to chill.
Vinyl industry is not great right now.
I know. But I just want it. I just want it so badly.
I know. We will have it soon. I'm also waiting for my classic Dude Bro Party Massacre vinyl.
Oh,
that should ship soon. And I can't wait for that. That's going to be great.
Oh, I'm so excited for that Fear Street vinyl.
Yeah, it's the trilogy. So we not only get one vinyl, we get every one of them. That's going to be dope. Mondo,
I can't wait.
Been cranking some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I need to look at more Mondo vinyls. I've been looking at the Waxworks ones mostly.
Right. Sorry, so
I almost bought the Trick or Treat one too.
I had it open in a tab, and I was like, if it's still here tomorrow, I'll get it. And it wasn't. I'm like, it's a sign, because that's how I do it. Like if I don't buy it immediately, that means I don't really want it, but I kind of want it. So I leave it there for a day, and if it's there the next day, I'm like, all right, cool.
What a way to think about it. Vanya, is this Cavity Colors? They have Crow stuff?
I don't think I don't know. I'm sure they have it sometime.
I bought a Scream T-shirt that I'm waiting for also that Ian recommended to me.
Is it Studio House?
Yeah.
Yeah, Studio House.
I want it to arrive.
Yeah.
I want all this cool stuff now. All right, want to go get dinner?
Yeah, kind of hungry.
I know, cool. After all that food talk, I'm super hungry. All right, that's it. We will more for Fear Street all day, every day.
Always.
Fear Street never ends. We will be back next Friday at your place.
We'll do it.
We will see you then.
Maybe I'll finally get this camo thing to work on my computer.
We should try that.
I'm gonna toy with it. I have time a little bit coming up, so I'm gonna figure it out.
I was about to say maybe I'll bring my Mevo too, but like I don't know if it's here or in New York now that I'm thinking about it. So I might not be able to do that. But we will have a lovely setup in Matt's apartment, no matter what the equipment is. And we will see you then. Have a good weekend, everybody.